Welcome back. Welcome back to the Goku Report. This is a special new top 10 list, and I hope you enjoy it. This is going to be, for me personally, in my opinion, 10 criminally underrated science fiction shows of all time. I will be ranking it on how much I actually personally like the show, and some of the stuff are relatively new that I've been introduced to, so a lot of the newest ones will only be honorable mentions. So, with that said, and these are shows I personally highly recommend. Some of these shows you can find on Hulu, Amazon Prime, or Netflix on some of these. So, with that said, first some honorable mentions. And by the way, since these are shows I believe based on being underrated, not so well known, I am excluding Firefly because I think that show has become a little bit overrated in recent years. Just my personal opinion on it. As well as the newer Battlestar Galactica series was very successful and very popular still to this day. A lot of people still talk about it, so I don't consider it underrated, nor most of the Star Trek series. Like Deep Space Nine, maybe to the average audience, may be not so well known, but among the fan base and everything, very hardcore. I don't really consider it underrated, though I love the series. But honorable mentions are first up, the original Battlestar Galactica series, which I feel not many people give respect for. Also, you won't see Doctor Who on the list because it's anything but underrated. If anything, it's become overrated. Though I like Doctor Who, don't get me wrong, I just feel it's become a little overrated in recent time. Also, honorable mentions. Warehouse 13, which is a very unique science fiction series that I'm surprised more people don't actually talk about. Last honorable mention is only one I recently was introduced to when I finally got subscribed to Netflix, and that is Netflix's take on Lost in Space. Only like 2 seasons. It's a great show, and I'm surprised more people don't talk about the show, which is why I consider it underrated. Coming in at number 10, a show that was based off of work from Gene Roddenberry. Um, and that is a series that was done by the short lived company called ADV Films. The series starred Kevin Sorbo, which of course most people know best for his work with Hercules' Legendary Journeys in the 90s. But in the 2000s, he would end up becoming the captain. And now, sadly, this show I felt went down in quality over time as Kevin Sorbo got more power on the show, creative control, and everything. Unfortunately, the first 2 seasons though of the series I think are actually very solid and very well done. But for me, number 10 is Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda. Next, we have at number 9 is a sci fi series from the 1960s that I'm surprised more people don't talk about today. People always talk about the original Star Trek series from that time period, but no one ever mentions the original Lost in Space series. I'm an uber fan of Lost in Space. As I said, I'm been enjoying the Netflix take. I really like the movie from the early 2000s, and I absolutely love the original Lost in Space series from the 60s. Fun fact, the music and stuff of Lost in Space, this was actually where John Williams would get his career start composing music for TV and film. He would get his start on Lost in Space. So, just a fun little fact. Coming at number 6, or number 8, is a series that was relatively very successful in the mid to late 2000s, but about a decade later, so few people talk about this series, and that's weird. It has great cast. J.J. Abrams did a great solid work on this show. Coming at number 8, in my personal opinion, is Fringe. Fringe is a great sci-fi show that if you can watch it on streaming, do yourself a favor and check out Fringe. It's a very well written, very well executed show, and also it's awesome the fact that you have cameos off and on throughout the series from Leonard Nimoy. Rest in peace. Coming at number 7 was a show that was a branch off of, in my opinion, an underrated series. This show would only get like 13 episodes, one season, unfortunately, but it was great. I thought it was really solid for the one season it was around. I'm surprised more people don't even talk about this, which is why it's on the list at 7. That being Crusade. Crusade was a very interesting science fiction series that I've only seen maybe one or two YouTubers actually talk about this series. And it's weird, maybe in the future sometime I'll actually review Crusade, because I actually have it on DVD. Found it like a few years back at Walmart for like $9.99. Coming in at number 6 is, in my opinion, the most underrated series from Star Trek. Coming at number 6 is Star Trek Enterprise. This is a series that I thought was actually very solid, very well acted, and I thought most of the people on the cast of the show were great. This, you could definitely tell it's been years because the special effects are way better. I love a lot of the characters, and I love the fact the one who plays the captain was from a great sci-fi series, that being, of course, Quantum Leap. Coming in at number 5 is, what if you want to make a space exploration show, but you don't leave Earth, but you rather do it underwater in the ocean, given about like 90% of the ocean is still unexplored. So, because of the depths, the pressure, and everything, is why. So, I thought it was great they made a sci fi show based on exploring the oceans and finding hidden stuff that you may have otherwise never would have thought of. Great series, and I wish this show would get more love than it does. It was successful in the 90s, but over time it lost its popularity, except for those of us who grew up in the 90s and have a nostalgia attachment to this series. Coming at number 5 is Sequest DSV, which would later get named, after 2 seasons, Sequest 2032, which would take place a few years later. Uh, we would see cameos in the series from Mark Hamill, and in the later seasons, 2032, the captain of the Sequest would become a guy we're relatively better and well known as a bad guy, and that is Michael Ironside, which is a great addition to the cast, and also one of the great, in my opinion, a criminally underrated actor who plays great Shakespearean style villain roles in different shows, or just over the top cheese, and I love him for it. And that is the actor Michael York, which I recommend highly checking out some of Michael York's work. Him and Michael Ironside are both great actors. I wish Michael York, though, would get a lot more credit than he gets, unfortunately, as well as a great another actor called Nick Mancuso. But with that said, coming in at number 4 is a series that Crusade branched off from, and that is a series done by TNT back in the 90s, and in my opinion, still stands as a shining example of how to do a great science fiction series correct, with a really good message in the show, great different alien race designs and everything. Coming at number 4 for me is Babylon 5. Coming in at number 3 is a series that I've always had a very special place for in my heart. And off and on throughout the years, this has gone back and forth, being easily in my top 3 favorite shows of all time. Coming at number 3 is Sliders, which is what got me obsessed with the whole looking into reading up and learning about stuff on theoretical science, dimensional physics, because this stuff I find very quite fascinating. Coming at number 2 is a maybe the most, in my opinion, criminally underrated Gene Roddenberry series made, and that is Gene Roddenberry's Earth Final Conflict, which is a great series which I've talked about in the past, and I wish more people would show love for the interesting alien race, the Talons. Though we would see our races, the Talons I have always felt have one of the more interesting alien designs and concepts of the way they work, being like part physical, part pure energy. And then in the last season, with not so great, the ancestors of the Talons, and that being the Avidus. Coming in at number one, arguably was my number one favorite TV show for over a decade, up until Game of Thrones dethroned it. But it is still like basically dukes it out for number two spot with Smallville. Coming at number one, I think because of the great alien creature designs, thanks to the Jim Henson Company being involved. This series was originally aired on the Sci-Fi channel and has, I think, one of my personal favorite TV villains of all time, that being Scorpius, as well as some other creatures or evil villainous races on the show, which I love. I really like the concept of like things like the Peacekeepers and many other concepts in the show, and I love the character John Crichton. But it's a great series, and I love Scorpius. What can I say? He's one of my as I just said, favorite villains of all time in TV. But for me, coming at number one, hands down favorite sci-fi series is Farscape, a show I wish more people would check out. Heck, a few years back when they had it on a Black Friday or Cyber Monday sale for Amazon, I picked up the Blu ray box set with a complete series. So, yeah, I highly recommend if you can watch it on streaming, just give a couple of episodes a chance. Check it out. I love so many of the characters in the show, like I said, John Crine, or Officer Son, or like Rigel, as well as many other characters throughout the series that I love. I just wish more people would give this series a chance, and in my opinion, one of the best alien creature designs of all time goes to Pilot, as well as the living ship of Moya. But with that said, I'll see y'all next time, and hopefully you enjoyed this. See you again, same YouTube time, same YouTube channel, and hopefully you enjoyed the retro wave music in the background. See you soon enough.